Hey, Coach, I'm so happy you found us on YouTube. Make sure you go over and subscribe and like, go down below, hit the bell up above if you want to make sure you get anything else coming. Also, make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you're looking to become a better basketball coach, if you're looking to take it to the next level, that's why I started it, to help you become a better basketball coach. And if you're looking to take it to the next level and get full season access, you're looking for our complete library. You're looking for 2 memberships and my full library. Go over to hit wintheseason.com. Wintheseason.com. You can get teachhoops.com. You can get full season access, everything we do in our program that has made us one of the top programs in the country. And then you get my full library with the funnel down defense, rule of 3 offense, everything you would want. Go over and check it out, wintheseason.com, and have a great day. All right, welcome to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. The first of 2024 and the post holiday podcast. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Coach K, I remember seeing Coach K. I think he won his. I remember going up and hearing him in a clinic in Minneapolis, and I
Okay.
must have been post either his first or second national championship. I might have been against, I don't remember which one it was. But anyway, got to shake his hand, meet him. Very nice man at the time. It's early in his winning career, but learned a lot. You know, a lot of these clinics you go to and you don't learn a lot, but I remember learning a lot from him. Wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
X's and O's too. Um,
It's interesting going to clinics because I don't know. A lot of times you get those big name coaches and you know, they're more, recruiters and salespeople a lot of times. They're not always the X's and O's type of person. And yeah, I would love to have heard Coach K, or maybe I still will get an opportunity, but read a lot about him, read his books, and this topic today is kind of on his view with leadership.
yeah, so talk about that. It's like the 5 keys that he's talked about in terms of leadership.
Yeah, he's written about leadership, and he kind of broke down 5 insights from Coach K on leadership, and I'll just kind of go through them and we can chat about them. But first and foremost, Coach K says, you have to create shared ownership, and belonging, being part of a team, and creating this emotional investment in the team. And I think if we think of Coach K's teams, they definitely were bought into each other. They had a role. I think that you could see that the roles were well known and kind of accepted. And there was really a family atmosphere. And I think that's step one with teams is you got to create that team concept, that culture, that family ownership, and that's something I think you did really well.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's one of the things I took away from him is it's more, we were talking before we even jumped on live here that it's really about the relationships, and it's about, the X's and O's will take care of themselves, and the injuries and the sickness, all that stuff will. But if they're, yeah, you got to make it. I tell them it's a unique world. A team is a unique world in the sense that it's like this family for 4 months or a year or something. But then you
Yep.
get a new family
Yeah.
because people leave and people come normally because you're in high school. Um, and they've spent this whole 12-month window together as kind of this group, and it's like, how do you build that family within that window, because eventually some of them are going to go off, literally they go off to college,
They
kind
they
of
do,
thing.
and
Yeah.
it's tight knit, and
Yep.
things happen, and you're with each other all the time, and you're navigating the. That's why when we talk about culture, we say culture is every day because and you and I are going through it a little bit this season. Things happen. Sometimes you can't control, sometimes you can, and you're every decision you make as a coach is creating this ownership, culture, family. And if you don't address and kind of deal with some of those things in the moment, they can really hurt a team. But I think
Right, and
it's really
you got to deal with things as they approach. Like I recently had my I had my mid third role meeting with the players, and like, here's what I expect, here's what you need to do. And
yep.
just because you sometimes have to reshuffle. I'll probably, once we get healthy, have to do another one because roles will shuffle again.
Yep.
Um, But some it's you said this, and I believe it 100%. I've done it for my entire career. You got to have those courageous conversations. You really do. The hard
You,
ones. The hard
you
ones are
have
the hard.
to.
Yes, yes.
If you
That builds a
don't,
family. Yeah.
it will come back to bite you. It's no different than your kids in a family. Like you can ignore things, they're going to come back and bite you, or you can address them head on and, grow. So,
Right. Okay.
uh, number two is Coach K talked about tailoring coaching to the person. And I think this is that whole concept that fair isn't necessarily equal. We have to be sensitive to every player's individual needs. It's critical we treat every kid fairly, but and I've never liked the word equal because we're all different human beings. Kids are all different. We have to push some kids, pull other kids, and you kind of got to meet them where they're at. And you have to be fair as it relates to the whole team, obviously, but you got to be careful with that word equal. And I think Coach K did a really good job of that as a coach. He really personalized his approach with kids to the individual and to the person, and he really got to know the person as an individual, and that's how you get kids to grow, is you find out where they're at, you push them, you pull them, and that's kind of the art of coaching. But I think that was an interesting one.
I
I don't
think
know
you're
what you're
right. It really is the art of coaching. Like
totally.
I'm married to a psychologist, so that helps.
Yeah.
Every coach should be married to a psychologist. But it's there. You got to figure out what makes them tick. It's I think as an experienced coach, I think that's one of my. I think I've really gotten good at that. The read, like that kid needs to be pushed. That kid thinks they need to be pushed, but maybe I got to get, what it's what makes them
Yeah.
go. Some kids think they need me on them, on them, on them. And it's like, well, okay, I do, but you don't handle that as well as, you know, um, like I'll give you an example. It was like, I coached, geez, it must have been 5 or 6 years ago, Jake Ferguson. He's a starting tight end for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Great, great football player, good basketball player, but great football. I
Yeah.
could have literally I had to ride. He wanted to be ridden hard. And it's
Yeah.
like when I didn't, he was like, he didn't, and he knew it. And that's how he performed. Um, but on that same team, the best player was the one I had to kind of like put my arm around and here's what you need and blah, blah, blah. And he's in, so it's like that read is but it goes back to what we were talking about before. if if you haven't spent the year with him, you don't know him,
Correct.
so one and
No,
two are kind
and
of close cousins.
even beyond that, you got to know them from a young, third grade, fourth grade basketball camp. You get to know kids, and to me, that's also when we talk about leadership, it's how you develop leadership. It's over time. You get to know those kids and tailor your coaching. And I love the word with itness. And I think the art of coaching, what you just mentioned, I agree. I think it's a strength of mine. I think the longer you're in it, the more successful coaches can become. It's because they get it. They have this with itness. They know when to pull, when to push, when to back off, when to have less is more with their team, when to push them. And, that's really the joy of coaching too, is figuring that out. I think, how do you navigate that?
I
So,
agree. I agree.
number three, Coach K, uniting big egos. Him especially at Duke, probably having to deal with that more than maybe we do at the high school level. But he had this concept, and he had to coach the U.S. Olympic team, and winning together. We'll only win if we win together. So he really focused on the strengths of the individuals to unite the team, and he used ego to unite, and he talked about that. And again, I don't think we have to deal with this as much as he would at the college level, but I think it was an important one.
I've had some teams I have.
Yep.
I mean, some really good teams that it's like, whoa. Like, and to be honest, the hardest teams for me, it
Yeah.
was like juggling all those because and in our level, you're even dealing with the parents of those egos.
Yep.
um, yes, I would 100% agree that that is Yeah, it's a difficult task to say the least. I would agree.
No,
Yeah.
totally. And that's about, what bringing a team is all about. The fourth one he talked about is hearing concerns from teammates and responding thoughtfully. I think he always has an open ear. He wasn't this guy putting his thumb down on everyone as a coach. I mean, he really was respectful and he listened to his players. And I think that's important as a coach. Be open to change. I know Coach K changed a lot and evolved over his career with how he coached, as he got different players. So being willing to kind of accept that discussion from kids and then change and modify accordingly, I think is really important as a leader as well.
I agree. I mean, yeah, if I was coaching, I mean, yeah, I just see myself over my 35 years, the transformation, and the game has changed in some respects too. Yeah,
Absolutely.
you got to move with the times or you're going to become a dinosaur is what I always tell my assistant coaches. We don't want to
Yep.
become extinct. Yeah.
No, no. And we're seeing that, we have the shot clock for the first time this year. So that's brought some unique
What's your
change.
thoughts on that? You like it?
You know, I think our first game, I think the kids were in such a rush. Like we
Yes.
didn't do a whole lot of it in the off season,
Yeah.
you know, but really in all the games we've played, it's been a minimal issue. There have
Yeah.
been a couple games that we would have taken the air out of the ball a little bit more, because
Right.
we're not
Yeah.
opposed to doing that.
Right.
Um, that hasn't been able to happen the same way, but we're
What's
getting
your
about
thought on the free throw rule?
free throw rule.
Are you in quarters?
We're in
You're
halves.
in half, so you didn't do it then. Okay.
Yep.
You didn't do the
Yep.
free throw rule. The one where it resets after five in the quarters. No, you don't. I'm asking as many coaches as I can to kind of
Oh,
see what it yeah.
yeah.
You're in
Yeah. So
halves.
anyway, it's been interesting. It really hasn't been a big issue. I think it'll be a bigger issue come tournament time.
Yes.
Um, and then the last one with Coach K is showing your emotions, being vulnerable. He was certainly someone that did that. I would say I'm not a guy that typically, especially as a younger coach, really showed, I'm not an emotional type coach. I'm pretty analytical. I'm pretty cut and dry. But as I've gotten older, I've definitely been more willing to humanize myself in front of kids. We've had some tough things, family things happen over the course of this season and other seasons, and kids need to know that you're human too, and
Yeah, I mean, I was
it's
telling you about my
critical.
dad. I mean, I've told them
Yeah.
about that and missing games and sent them, and it's like I think the vulnerable thing is huge too. It's like we lost the game by two. It was, we had some chances to win it, missed some free, whatever. But there was
Yep.
like 6 seconds left, and I didn't take a timeout. Like I let them go, and
Yep.
it's like, well, it didn't work out. And in our film session yesterday, I said, here was my reasoning. I
Yep.
will take the blame for that, but here's why I did it, and here's what
Yep.
we can do moving forward. Um, you know, I mean, I'll fall on the sword if they think it's my fault. I don't. Um, but I did it because we hadn't practiced it enough. I didn't think you would run it. We hadn't run our stuff earlier. I thought we could get a better look in the 6 seconds, so they didn't have
Yep.
time to set up. I gave them all the reasons, and I said maybe that was the wrong decision. I don't know, but I'm just like I'm never going to blame you. It's like it could have been multiple reasons that there are multiple reasons we did.
Yep.
So I think that vulnerability is important for them to see that you're human and you make mistakes too. Is
Yeah, and
huge.
you're willing to
Yeah.
accept them, and you're explaining, hey, here's what I was thinking on it, and we're gonna, I trust us as a team, and
Right.
you know,
Yes.
uh,
Here we
this is a
go.
long process. This is going to help us down the end
Yep.
when we have that situation again.
Right. Because we'll have done it and we'll have already situated it. All right. Good. Till next week, coach.
All right.
All right. Till next week. Hey, coach, I hope you like this. Make sure you go over and check out Teach. Make sure you subscribe and like. Make sure you go over, leave some comments if you have any questions or anything like that. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. Go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. The one-stop membership for everything that you would need. And if you're looking to take it to the next level, you're looking for a mentor, you're looking for my own boxer, you're looking for everything, my library, everything that's included, go to winthisseason.com. Talk to you soon.